When I first started my PhD, I was told I had 6 months to read research papers and fully understand my topic. 6 months. Back then, that felt huge. But here's the truth I didn't know at the time. With the AI tools we have today, I could have done the same thing in a tiny fraction of that time. What used to take me weeks can now take minutes. If I had these tools back then, that 6-month reading plan would have turned into barely a few days of focused work. And that's why this video matters. Today, I'm going to show you the AI tools and habits I wish I had from day one, the exact tools that now save me more than 20 hours every single week when I'm reading research papers. Whether you're a researcher, an academic, or a student drowning in PDFs, these tools will help you read faster, understand deeper, and actually use what you learn instead of getting lost in a sea of complicated text. So let's start with step 1, because this is where everything becomes a lot easier, finding and uploading the research papers you want to work with. I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. And honestly, it takes almost no effort at all. I usually begin by grabbing a few papers I want to read and dropping them straight into my Anara library. I use Anara all the time. So when you look at my screen, you'll see a bunch of chats, folders, documents, and old research papers I've uploaded in the past. The cool part is that the upload process is super simple. You just drag and drop your files into the library, and within a minute or two, Anara imports everything for you. Once it's done, your papers show up with the title, the authors, the file type, and even a short summary that Anara generates automatically, telling you what the paper is actually about. And if you want to personalize that summary or rewrite it in your own style, you can edit it right there. One of my favorite things about Anara is that you can group papers together into folders, which saves you from having 20 random PDFs floating around your computer. And I can choose to ask questions about the entire folder or just one specific paper whenever I need clarity. You'd be surprised how many people skip this first step. They keep their research scattered across their desktop, buried in random downloads, or lost inside unnamed folders. And when everything is a mess like that, you can't truly dive into the material because you're too busy searching for files instead of understanding what's inside them. Having a clean, organized library changes everything. It makes your work faster, your thinking clearer, and it helps you actually understand what you're reading instead of drowning in digital chaos. Getting this part right sets the foundation for every other step that you take next. Step number 2 is to ask targeted questions about the research you want to understand. And this is where AI becomes a real game changer. Here, I open just one research paper from my folder, because instead of drowning in 10 papers at once, I want to show you how fast you can understand a single study using Anara. Once the paper is uploaded, the entire thing is right there. And on the right side, I can start chatting with it, like I'm talking to someone who already knows the topic inside out. I can ask questions, break down the topic, request practice questions, or even use the suggested prompts that go deeper into the details. But I like to start from the beginning because I want to make sure I fully understand what the research is actually saying. So I click on the breakdown quick action, and it instantly generates a custom prompt that tells Anara to summarize the paper in a table format. It includes the title, authors, method, research goals, key findings, main takeaway, study limitations, and a final conclusion. And the best part is that every piece of information in that summary comes with a small index number that links directly to the exact line in the paper where the information came from. That means it's not guessing or making things up, which is something that matters a lot when you're dealing with academic work. For example, I highlighted one of the key findings and asked, what specific results support this? Because it's not enough to just read a summary and assume everything is correct. If you want to truly understand a research paper, you need to know how they reached that conclusion. Anara told me the finding was supported by both quantitative results and qualitative observations, which already gives me a better picture. But I didn't fully understand what that meant. So I clicked on the text and asked Anara to explain it. It broke everything down in simple words, giving me a clean definition of what each data type meant and why it mattered. That alone saved me so much time searching up definitions on Google. Another thing I often do is ask Anara to explain a figure. Let's say figure 3 looks confusing or overwhelming. I can ask, can you explain figure 3 in context to the topic? And it will tell me what the axes represent, what the data shows, and what the results mean for the model or theory being studied. It doesn't just describe the picture, it connects it back to the bigger topic, so I understand why the figure even matters. And while I'm reading, I can highlight different parts of the text using colors and leave comments to remind myself what each passage explained. My highlights become my own personalized study guide, built in seconds. All of this happens in just a few minutes. You can pick out the main ideas, understand the methods, check if the results make sense, and decide whether the paper is actually useful for your research. And of course, if you want to go deeper, no one is stopping you. You can spend more time reading the full paper and digging into every detail. But the real power here is that you can get a fast, clear review of any paper in minutes, instead of spending hours trying to figure out whether it's even worth reading. That is the kind of time-saving habit that changes everything for researchers, students, and anyone who works with scientific papers. The third thing you need to do is make sure every answer you get from Anara is something you can actually check. This is one of the reasons I trust this tool so much. Anytime Anara makes a point or gives you information inside the chat, you can see exactly where it came from. It shows a little number next to the claim, and when you click it, Anara takes you straight to the exact line in the research paper where that idea was mentioned. You don't have to guess, you don't have to hope it's right, and you don't have to wonder if the AI just made something up. You can verify everything with one click right inside the original document. And this is a huge advantage over general AI tools like ChatGPT. Yes, ChatGPT can give you fast answers, but you often don't know the source, and you can't always be sure it's accurate. With Anara, there's no hallucination, no random facts, no guessing. Every claim is tied directly to the primary source, so you always know where the information came from, and you can check it for yourself anytime. One thing I really love about Anara is how it helps me pull out the exact information I need without jumping between 10 different tabs. When I want to focus on one small part of a topic rather than the whole group, Anara lets me do that easily. And when I find something important that I don't want to lose, I can extract it and save it inside a note right there in my workspace. For example, if I need a citation, all I have to do is type create citation, choose the research paper I want, and Anara instantly generates it for me. I can copy it into Word, Google Docs, wherever I'm writing, but I usually just open it as a note so it stays inside the workspace on the right side of my screen. Everything stays in one place, so I'm not wasting time switching back and forth between windows, tabs, or apps. It just sits there waiting for me, and I can keep adding citations or adding any text I create without losing track of anything. And I feel like I need a simple explanation. I can tell Anara to find a YouTube video that breaks it down. It pulls up videos instantly, and I can drop them straight into my notes so I always have them for later. It feels like building my own little study hub right inside the platform. On top of that, I'm not limited to only the papers I upload. I can search the web directly from Anara. It searched the web, not just my library, and showed me where the information came from with a small arrow symbol that lets me open the source outside the platform. And when I want new research papers I haven't read yet, the Search Papers tool makes it so easy. I can click them to open outside the platform, download them, read them, and add anything useful straight back into my notes. Everything about this feels so smooth and practical. Instead of wasting hours digging through random websites or messy databases, Anara brings everything to me in a clean, simple workflow. It keeps my research, videos, citations, and notes all in one place. And that alone saves me so much time. Honestly, having all these tools inside a single workspace makes researching feel less like a chore and more like something I can actually control without feeling overwhelmed. At the end of the day, Anara has become one of those tools that truly change how I read and understand research. It doesn't just help me read faster, it helps me read better. I can move through papers in a fraction of the time it used to take me, but I'm also getting more depth out of each one because everything I need is built right into the platform. I can pull information from YouTube, the web, newspapers, my own notes, and compare everything side by side without losing focus. If something confuses me, I can dig deeper instantly. If I need context, it's right there. And having all of this in one place makes the entire process smoother and so much easier to manage. For me, it's become the place where I keep my reading, my notes, my citations, and all the research I'm working through. It's the tool I rely on the most when I need to understand something quickly, but also thoroughly. So if you want to study smarter and save yourself a lot of stress, give it a try and see how it fits into your workflow. I'd love to hear your thoughts and what tools help you read research papers faster. And I really hope you stick around because the next video will help you take your productivity even further. Watch the next video.